What is going on, everyone? It is time for episode number 1 of the RGH Real Gamer Hour podcast. Today, I am with True Vanguard and KackisHD. These are going to be my co-hosts for, until we hit 9 million subs, and then I'm going to get Joe Rogan. But today, we are going to be hitting some different topics in the gaming community, and that is what this podcast is all about. We're going to talk about Destiny, but we're going to talk about gaming as a whole. Is there new hardware that's coming out that's going to revolutionize gaming? Is there any new delays or hot leaks in the community that we want to talk about? Or even just some juicy drama from time to time? Because I know these guys like a little bit of drama. I know they love it.
We don't get involved in drama. Well, you got to get in there, bro. You say?
Yeah, I got you.
That's right. Hey. Popcorn's like drama. You eat too much, it gets stuck in your teeth, but it's still good every now and then.
Right. So we have a bunch of great topics we're going to get into today. I just want to do a quick shout out to our sponsor, Advanced.gg. We're going to get into that much more later. They have some awesome products, but we want to get into the content right now. So Destiny Beyond Light had some brand new information with the Stasis subclass Shadebinder just yesterday.
Yep. This is hot off the press, boys. Yep. Listen, I'll take it from here, because I did a video on it today, so it's like fresh in my mind. I just want to talk a little bit about, so essentially, the really quick recap, it was unveiled that the Warlock subclass for Stasis was unveiled, and with that, there's a whole new UI interface and like a whole new setup to the subclass. Like, if you go in your subclass right now, you'll see the different little attunements, that's gone. That's not going to be there for the Stasis subclass. I don't think the existing subclasses are changing yet, but like the big news is that there's no more attunements, right? So those perks are now just going to be replaced by, I think that, what are they called? Augments, or I forget what they're called. Fragments and something else like relics. So you get these like augments, right? I know that's not the right thing, but they're physical objects in the world, and they will give you aspects, and they will give you different like perks. So those are your perks, and you pick them, and then you have like an aspect, and then you can mod that aspect with fragments, and fragments are like seasonal mods for your subclass, right?
Right.
So this is a huge deal, dude, because listen, I don't think people are realizing how big of a deal this is, because it's like, why are they physical objects? Right? I have to go out and I loot them off the ground when killing an enemy or doing an activity. Here's the thing. You know how Bungie adds new seasonal mods all the time? Mm-hmm. Now they can add new aspects and new fragments every season, or like once in a while. And that's equivalent to getting new freaking perks for your subclass.
Your subclass. That's right.
That's so big. Like, they don't touch the subclasses, right? And like, if you do the quick math of like, okay, right now it's like 3 aspects times 3 grenades times whatever, it's 54 total options. But with how the aspects and fragments work, just with the screenshot we saw where there was at least 2 aspects, and I was like, if there was 4 aspects and 5 fragments, which again we saw in the screenshot, that's over 360 different choices. So you're like more than quintupling the amount of choices you have. Like, there's actually going to be proper builds in the game now.
And they warned us about this. I mean, we kind of knew that stuff like this was coming. They said, hey, we're going to start leaning kind of heavily into this like RPG side of things. And, ever since Destiny 2's launch, it's been really straightforward. Like, very little thought applied. You pick your subclass, your attunement, and you're good to go. You don't mess with it anywhere after that. And that was actually a move away from Destiny 1. If you remember, in D1, we had like all the perks to choose from. You can mix and match according to the way that you wanted to play your build. And I feel like we're kind of getting back to that, but then taking it to the next level. And I love seeing Destiny go deeper into that side of things. I really do.
With the subclasses, we have top tree, bottom tree, kind of middle tree. And they gave us those choices. And it's kind of like the customization, but there's so many subclasses where I'm like, if I could just change this one thing. If I just had the Icarus dash on it, on one of my Warlock classes, it would be better. If I just had this, smoke bomb on this class, it would be better. And so giving us those options and being able to use those aspects, that is key for me to enjoying the game, because I like having that choice, and I like min-maxing and maximizing it for the way I like to play. And right now, I feel like there's a lot of subclasses where I'm like, it's almost there, but it's not what I like.
Right. It's basically like the dumb way to explain it, but the kind of what is correct is imagine right now if you could take perks from the different attunements, from the different codes, and combine them into whatever order you want. Like, how wild would that be? Like, I'll
Yeah.
just take Roaring Flames, but then combine it with Top Tree Sunbreaker and stuff. Like, that would
Yeah.
be nutty. That's basically what you can do.
The
Yeah,
other thing
build
too
the-
is I'm wondering if the aspects are going to apply, you know, if the Warlock ones are different from the Titan ones. Because we're actually going to find out about the Titan on Thursday. But
Yeah.
will they have all of the same ones where, you know, class abilities do an area of effect or what?
So there's this new thing, Tash, it's called actually reading the article that came out with it, where Bungie says that there are different, the aspects are different, but the fragments, I think they said, are class wide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I do. Hey, listen. You know, reading is not my strong suit. Like, you just spent a week-long vacation with me, bro. Like, you know, I can't read. Charcuterie? Is that what that word is? I don't know.
Background for the chat, I gave this guy his first taste of like anything. He had cheese that wasn't craft singles for like the first time ever. This dude is like mind blown. He's like, Brie, there's Brie cheese and it melts. This is crazy, dude.
All right. Enough about leaking this vacation. Let's talk about some Beyond Light leaks. There's a bit of drama in the Destiny community and surrounding
drama in the Destiny community. This never happens, dude.
Unreal.
Never. This is the first time.
I know. So there is quite a bit of drama in the Destiny community because there's multiple leaks from multiple different sources right now, and I don't know what to believe. I don't know if you guys want to dive into it first, or I can start with my thoughts.
Go into it. Go.
All right,
brother.
So, Wish You Luck was one of the people that's getting apparently leaks directly from Bungie. He is repeatedly tweeting out information, and it's impossible to know for sure, but he's repeatedly showing little tidbits, little teasers of footage. He's even saying that he has footage of Beyond Light, and if you follow him, he's gonna release it. If you if you retweet his stuff, he's going to release it. And then he goes and says, well, maybe it's not actually info. Maybe I'm just speculating. And it's really tough to tell with the guy because some of the stuff is really, it seems legit. But then he's
right.
like,
it sounds credible.
I don't know. Right.
Also, I think it's causing a little drama. The fact that he's like, if you follow me and if you like retweet this, then
that's right.
Maybe a little sprinkle some little more in on the side,
Right.
Which is leveraging it.
Covering leaks is nothing new. I think just the way he's doing is a bit different. I mean, like, he's just trying to like get as much exposure as he can with this information.
Yeah, and at this point, he's not worried about not getting an invite by Bungie out. Like at this point, he doesn't care about that. He's not worried that leaking something is going to get him blacklisted because he's already been told multiple times like he's not going to be involved in these
like, what are you going to get?
So he's got that's right. He's got nothing to lose. So he's just trying to leverage it for growth.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you say what you want about the morality and the ethics of that, but is it working? I don't know. Is he generating growth? I'm not watching his numbers.
Right.
Might be.
And the interesting thing is, so you see that side of the coin, but then even with Aztecross, there was actually a lot of drama with Aztecross this past week because he made a video talking about stuff that was essentially under NDA, or he said, hey, I'm not sure if I'm breaking NDA, but this is what I heard. And, instead of being seen as a black sheep or being even seen in a bad light, a lot of people are saying he's like a martyr, right? He's like the hero of the Destiny community.
Oh, I've never seen, dude, people were, I've never seen such an effort to like defend some. It was kind of like crazy. Some people, were calling out like, hey, yo, did this guy break NDA? That's not good. Those people were getting legit like death threats from like Aztecross fans. I'm like, bro, like it's not that deep, guys. It's just like you're covering a leak. He leaked, the whole thing is, did he leak it himself? And that's like the whole topic. But it's like at the end of the day, it's like I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think it's like, but you got to wonder if Bungie's going to be happy to have him back to that kind of event. There's also a weird kind of thing. People tried to invent the fact that like, oh, this was already public information. No, is it like what? We're kind of like, it was like, I remember someone tweeted out like they highlighted like, the Destiny content vault contains stuff from D1 and D2. He's like, look, it was already public information. I'm like, bro, no one's talking about that. That's very different than saying
Yeah.
I was in a secret meeting with Luke Smith, and he said, and I quote, like, that's obviously the issue, like, guys.
Yeah, and you have to understand, you know, and I will say this. I mean, we're not dogging on Cross here. Every interaction I've ever had with Dazzler Cross, she's a real cool guy, just a genuinely good dude. Sat down, had beers and burgers with him, you know, great dude. But people, I think they downplay what could be the ramifications of a leak of that magnitude. If it's a private meeting with the game lead, right? Then that's a pretty big olive branch for Destiny, for Bungie to extend to someone that has such a big following. So breaching confidentiality and NDAs like that could have ramifications for things like their transparency with the community down the road. We don't know.
Like, again, I think people are ignoring the one thing I'll say on it. Like the thing that concerns me, I don't necessarily care so much on the video end. I care on this, like, what does Bungie think? Because, you know, Bungie may be taking this way more seriously than we are and be really upset about this. Like, and people need to understand, you know, something that someone pretty high up in EA told me when I was like at an EA Game Changers thing. He's like, we had to fight the top brass to get these programs. Like, a lot of the top people at these gaming companies do not like the idea of summits. They think
they don't want them involved. No,
because of exactly what's going on is that you have people with followings that are leaking stuff. Do you guys know what they used to do before summits? Like, back in the day, they would get random people off the street to test their game. That's no cap. That's actually what happened.
Right.
So, like, you have people who aren't familiar with the franchise. They have no idea what Destiny is or whatever the game is, and they're giving feedback. So, like, if you think getting people who are very familiar with the franchise, like these summit things, are better for getting feedback, then you should be kind of concerned with this, because Bungie will just do less of this stuff. Or if they don't stop summits, they may stop, like, looking this far ahead, right? Like, they may just, like, Luke Smith will be like, well, I'm never going to another summit. Like, just talk about Crucible balance. I don't care.
Well,
right? So,
you know,
that's my concern.
And the thing is people might be wondering, well, who cares? Who cares? You content creators don't get to go to a summit. Just one quick example is at the first summit that I was at, the last one I've ever been to, because I think I'm even a little bit of a black sheep now.
Same thing, dude.
I pulled the same thing, but there were some things there that we had discussed, like I believe it was actually the mod system with the weapons and the perks. And they kind of said what they had in mind, and all the content creators are like, whoa, let's rethink this. And it ended up not being in the game. I can't recall you know, all the changes and all the things we talked about, but there was some stuff that, you know, dedicated players of the game caught and realized the community is not going to like this. And so there is definitely some value there. And if we'll go and leak stuff after we've had these crazy in-depth, you know, behind the curtain peeks at the game, well, then they just don't happen anymore. And then maybe those mistakes happen.
And it's really important also to understand, as somebody from the outside looking in, you're not a content creator, so you don't feel concerned about this. I can tell you, I've been to several summits, and it's not just content creators. Okay. There's been a ton of people who Bungie has actually done their due diligence and said, this person plays a lot. This person's really knowledgeable on the forums. This person is a really high tier player in this specific playlist that we want feedback in. Let's bring them in. People who do podcasts, people who do online periodicals and journalism. So it's not just content creators, it's common gamers like everybody in chat too. So it's worthwhile to be at least like, we should at least question whether this is a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah. I think,
sorry, go.
Well, I think we all agree. It's like, hey, you know, some things are more important than the views in some aspect. Like, maybe that was the wrong decision. But at the same time, if you actually look at in his defense, if you look at the stuff he released, it wasn't like Bungie's a terrible place or anything like that. And it then kind of gets into question, maybe Bungie should peel back the curtain a little bit for us and give us a more in-depth explanation so that we understand what's going on behind the scenes. Like, there's that whole other argument. It's like, well, why is this even a leak? Why is this under NDA? Why doesn't Bungie just come out and tell us and be more honest with us? I think I just want to mention that because I think that's what a lot of people are going to be thinking.
Well, and the other thing too is, honestly, to build on that, is a lot of people do defend Cross because he did release this information, and a lot of it is saying, hey guys, I know you're worried about all these planets going away. Because, I mean, we're losing a bunch of planets from Destiny, and we're losing a bunch of content, and it's like, well, what are you replacing it with, or what's being done with that? And he kind of alluded that they're reworking it, and so maybe that was his attempt at getting
Calming
people to
down.
calm down, right? Exactly, give them a little bit more information or a little bit of security, and whether that's true or it isn't true, because I don't know. I haven't been to that summit event. I have no idea what's true and what isn't. I have no idea if he broke NDA or he didn't. What he was talking about, I don't even think it's like that bad of news. Honestly, that's kind of good news. If that's the case, if they're taking away these planets, they're remaking them, they're going to be, you know, re-destinified and reimagined or just optimized, good. Like, that's what we should hope for. And if that's the case, awesome.
Yeah, it's if this is correct, it is at the end of the day fantastic news for Destiny fans, which is what we kind of should be focusing on. Like, let's kind of chill with the whole freaking out at everyone. But like honestly, it is good news. But the one kind of caveat to that is like when you have those meetings and you do those summits and you get that information that's like that far down the road, maybe that's what they were thinking at the time. Maybe they're not doing that anymore.
True.
Maybe they're permanently.
True.
Like, who knows, dude? Like, things change drastically in a year, right? Things change drastically in a few months. So that's the problem with this like info that's, you know, from so far back. You just never know.
Well, I mean, even with like, do you guys remember when we had some of the information coming from Anthem? We went to an event and someone, I think it was Willis, posted a video from the store showing all of the currency needed to buy skins, and all of those were just like placeholder numbers. Like, they were 20 times, right? Like, they were 20 times the amount you actually needed or something crazy.
Right.
And then it creates a shitstorm, right? It creates a shitstorm. People are hating on the game, and it's like, whoa, chill. That's not even the price, bro. Right?
I think I was at that event, and we're all just like capturing it early. Look, Anthem didn't work out. We all know that. Like, it had some cool features. I genuinely had fun in that game, but then I genuinely got super bored too. But like, I remember being at the event. They were just like, don't take pictures of the store because it's not finished. Like, that's a super reasonable request. Like, it was all placeholder numbers, and then you have all the like negative Nancy YouTubers who are like, Anthem skins cost $20,000, bro. This is ridiculous. It's like, oh dang.
It's crazy because it really is industry wide. I mean, like, I follow Melissa, who is the person that handles relationships with content creators for Gearbox, right? And it was probably maybe a month ago that she had tweeted out something along the lines, I can't quote it, so don't quote me on this, but it was something along the lines of like, bro, you guys gotta stop with the NDA breaches here.
I didn't know they were the Borderlands stuff. I'm just kidding.
So it really is. It's an industry wide topic issue, and it does cause some potential problems for developers when it comes to relationships with creators. Yeah.
But at the same time, developers, like, it's not that deep. And honestly, the reaction was like good. Like, Bungie, like, if you are keeping it secret, you don't need to keep it secret.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, let's move on from the Destiny drama until next week when more crazy stuff happens.
There will be stuff.
Until tomorrow when the next thing happens, you know?
Yeah. And honestly, like, it isn't just Destiny either. Like, honestly, there's content creators doing it, but even it seems like every game that releases lately, there's leaks. The new Call of Duty got leaked. Like the release date and all these release dates and screenshots are getting out, and it's like there's people at the studios. It's almost like moles, right? Yeah. They apply. They're like, hey, I'm good at developing. They go snap a couple screenshots and then put it on their Reddit page for karma, and they're like, oh yeah, baby, like. That's better than having a job. They would rather get some internet points for leaking it. But
do you think this is like put on your tinfoil hats conspiracy? Do you think sometimes studios like purposely leak little things? Like, we'll leak a screenshot or leak something just to like as like a subtle way to drum up a hype or like confirm the release date, right? Because they leak the release date, just the release date, and like every YouTuber covers the news, right? And you get like everyone knows the release date now.
Yeah, you get a lot of press. I totally think so. I've thought that before, like even with some of the Destiny stuff. Because do you remember what was the guy's name? He was the Reddit leak, the credible Reddit leaker for
the Zer guy. It was like Watcher the 9 or whatever.
I don't remember, but it was always like really accurate. And if it wasn't spot on, it was close enough that it would have been true when he said it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
a lot of that stuff, I was like, man, that's almost too good to not be intentional, you know?
Yeah,
Mhm.
who knows, man? Who knows?
Yeah,
It's
I
a
guess we'll
whole.
see. I mean,
Yeah.
the other thing too is like with some of these leaks, uh, are they even going to stay onto the schedule? Because there's so many games that are getting delayed,
Bro,
right?
what a segue, dude.
What a segue. But
Good
Yeah.
actually, before we talk about those, I just want to do a
Oh,
quick ad read for our sponsor, advanced.gg. They make some incredible energy drinks. There's even a little Mtashed shaker if you guys are interested. Kackis, when are you getting yours?
Joe, shut up. Come on.
Okay, anyways, Advanced.gg has sponsored this podcast. They're going to be a sponsor for the whole month, every episode. We're going to be doing this podcast every Wednesday. So make sure to be following the channel right now. And also, if you guys are interested in getting one of these beautiful drinks, we have our own discount code. We have an RGH 10% off advanced.gg discount code. There's multiple new flavors. There's the triple rec berry. There's the aspen blue raspberry. And some other flavors like the Mtash Mango Splash will be back in stock soon. Okay?
All right. Can I say, like, I know people will be like, bro, ad read, but like to sponsor a podcast that hasn't even existed because we're like, yo, we need some sponsors. We got to pay for some stuff. That is a G move. That is
Yeah.
an OG move to be like, hey, we got you guys. So like that is a shout out to Advanced GG. Like that's pretty baller of them.
Yeah.
I just want to know when they're going to hook me up with a whiskey flavor.
A whiskey.
Bro,
Oh
I
my
know.
God.
Whiskey. Let's get it. Well, the best ones are aged like 15 years, dude. So you got a long
Yeah, it might
wait.
be a while. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be a hot minute.
Yeah, you're going to really have to delay to get that flavor. Now, listen. Let's talk about the game delays. Boys, Halo was supposed to be a launch title for the Xbox. Right. Delayed a year.
Bro,
a year.
That's
dude,
huge.
That's like, I heard it was getting delayed, and I was like, okay, it's gonna come out a few months after. But like when it was like holiday 2021, I was shocked. I was like, what? Dude, and like that blows my mind because it's like, how bad did things go? Because how can you say like, at some point they thought they were gonna launch in a couple months, right?
Right.
They were like, we're good, we'll make that deadline, and then something happened. They're like, bro, we need another freaking year.
Right. You gotta wonder, man.
Delete the game by accident? Like, what the heck happened?
Yeah. Well, they did that first reveal and it looked like PS2 graphics, and they're like, wait a second. Wait a second. But honestly, okay, so if Halo, one of the, supposed launch titles for the Xbox, is delayed a year, right? I wonder how many of these games haven't released that they're getting delayed, but they're going to be. There's a couple games that I've played. There's that Outriders game, and we've been seeing footage of that Godfall game. And in some cases, they kind of look like maybe they need a little bit more work. Well, then COVID hits, right? COVID hits, and they probably already needed a little bit more work anyways. And, I mean, now they've made it even harder to work on these projects. And so are we going to see way more delays that just haven't been announced yet? And they're just... they're maybe crunching to see if they can make it, but they're not going to make it. I don't know.
Dude, I think that's an important thing. Like, you can't 100% blame the developers for this one. There's a lot of outside factors that are definitely involved in taking longer.
Right. And our main game, Destiny, is delayed. It was about 2 months, from September to mid-November.
Can we talk about? You mentioned Godfall. Me and Ryan were joking about this.
Oh,
because they have the Gamescom and everyone's showing all these trailers, right?
Right.
2-minute long trailers and all this stuff, and it's like, and now Godfall, and it just zooms in on this like moth looking dude, and he smacks 2 guys, and it ends. I was like, bro, what the frick? I have no idea what that was. Like, I know the moth armor, that it's like a Valor plate, and it has some sort of effect. But they couldn't give some guy like $50 to be like, this is the something Valor plate, and it gives you the ability to insert whatever the frick it did. They're like, just smack a couple dudes, we'll put it up, and we'll see what happens.
Right. It's almost like there's 2 like possibilities here. One of 2 things is happening. A, your marketing team is just not doing a good job of showing off your product and getting people excited about it because they still are like, I think that might be cool, but I don't know. You know what I mean? So it could be like they're just not doing a really good job of showing off what they have. Or the concerning alternative is maybe there's not a lot there. You know what I mean?
And that's
There's
the
gotta
thing.
be enough to get some dude explaining what the freaking Valor plate does, dude.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
what?
because they
It's
have all
so
these
weird.
Valor plates, but it's
Well, just
like, what do they
imagine
do?
if it was like Destiny 2 Beyond Light, and then it shows the Shadebinder, it just shows him, and then he shoots 2 dudes, and it ends. You'd be like, what the frick?
Yeah,
That's
like what is
happened.
it? What's different about it? What's new? Because I've seen the Valor plate for the guy who's got like the lion and with like the flaming eyes and mouth, and then now the moth guy, and it's well, how are they different? The footage
Right.
looks exactly the same. They go in, they dodge a couple times, they use a little sword, like pull out a little dagger out of their pocket, and it's like, okay, sure. There's
Yeah.
not because no one's had any hands on with it. To have zero context, it's like
Right.
Yeah.
it's just so over my head.
If there's actually like a loot-based brawler like sword combat game, that could be sweet. I don't know. Someone in the chat has got to sound off if they've played Lord of the Rings War in the North from like forever ago, but that had that same system. It was like a Borderlands Destiny style loot system, but it was a hack and slash, and it was super fun. You'd find this, the awesome flaming sword that had lit people on fire, had some abilities, whatever. That was awesome. I actually really enjoyed that game. So if that is like coming to next gen and it's that kind of thing, I'm so happy with that. But like I'm hyped for this game for that reason. People like looks like trash. And I'm like, I can't even argue with you. I don't even know what the heck is going on with this game, bro.
Right. I'd like to stand up for it, but I just don't know how to defend it. Yeah.
You're like, did you see when he smacked that dude? That was sick, bro.
Yeah. And we were saying those games are ones where you could maybe see a delay coming because we don't have a lot of info, or maybe the footage looks like they have a little bit of let's say kinks to work out. But there's probably some huge AAA titles that are going to have problems because of this, or are going to be delayed, or when they do launch, problems with the game. There's going to be optimization issues if they're trying to hit a deadline, and depending on the publisher, I mean, we know that some of these publishers say, this is the day it's coming out, you're going to put it out, and we don't care, right? And, even with companies like Ubisoft, they have had huge changes to some of their structure internally. There's people getting fired because of all those crazy allegations. Like there was all the sexual abuse and sexual harassment allegations. There were some very high level people at Ubisoft. So does that impact these projects as well? Right? They've got Far Cry type games and Division. Yeah. Like Ubisoft is a huge publisher. And so you're throwing on coronavirus with also people losing their jobs. And there's a lot of recipes here for disaster in a lot of different games.
Dude, yeah. That was crazy.
And then you got to think, you've also got games that maybe should have delayed their content and didn't. I'm referencing Apex Legends. So Apex Legends recently launched their newest season 6. New character, map changes to all kinds of different mechanics in the game. It's a fair amount of content. And they did not delay it. But then right as it gets released, these posts start to surface on Reddit that are allegedly from inside the company, the developers who are saying, hey, we were treated terribly. Like they refused to push back deadlines. We worked our butts off. It was a horrible environment, terrible atmosphere. We're not even proud of the product that we put out there because of the environment we were in and the pressure we were under to get this out in front of people. Now, whether or not those things are true, we don't know. We really don't. None of it's been like absolutely confirmed, but those reports did at least surface. Could be people pretending, or it could be legit. We don't know.
And like, that's an interesting topic. And that's a good segue. Like, you have companies, and I think a lot of gamers now are kind of like, that used to be so common. Like, it was always crunch time and people would sleep under their desks and stuff. That was just common. I think people are now looking at that and being like, that's probably not the best move. That's not healthy. That's not good. Right. And you have companies, I think Bungie is one of them, who like, they don't like that. They try to avoid those type of crunches and like those bad work environments. But at the same time, it's like, as a result of that, D2, like, imagine if Beyond Light came out September 22nd. Like, how good that would be. All this hype is kind of like unopposed. Nothing else is happening September 22nd. Nothing, dude. Now it's coming out November 10th, and then like November like 13th or something is Cyberpunk.
No,
I
Call
don't
of
know,
Duty.
it's like
Call of Duty is the 13th.
Okay, Cyberpunk is like the 15th or whatever it is.
Yeah, 19th.
Call of Duty is like the 13th. Assassin's Creed freaking Valhalla is like that same week. And it's like, bro, like, you guys, come on, like, maybe crunch a little bit. Like, I don't, dude, that is insane competition. Like, that's obviously Destiny is such an established game. I don't think it's going anywhere because it's hard to convince people, hey, abandon your character you've spent 4,000 hours on. That's just not going to happen, right? So it'll never die per se. But like that's kind of what happened to Titanfall 2. Why it didn't get going is because they sandwiched it in between Call of Duty and Battlefield. And it's like Destiny is now in the same atmosphere as like just having all this insane competition in like the same week it's supposed to go live. Like that is gonna be rough, dude.
Unless they know something we don't know.
Like all
the delays
get delayed. Could you imagine? And then like Bungie looks like geniuses.
That's right. Well, the industry is a lot smaller than most people think it is.
Yeah.
Could be. So I have a quick question then with that. So they're launching it really close to some major titles. Like Cyberpunk is probably one of the most hyped games ever. But with Destiny, because it's been out so long, do you think maybe the audience is pretty much locked in? And so, yes, there's a Call of Duty, but the people that play Destiny don't really play Call of Duty. And the Call of Duty players aren't going to go play the new Destiny DLC, even if it's a banger anyways. Like, maybe the numbers won't be that bad. Or do you think it's going to get crushed? You know, like
it's going to get crushed. Dude, like,
you think it's going to get crushed?
There's a lot of players, like the main population are people who are like in and out, right? The dedicated people aren't going anywhere, but like, this is going to do nowhere near as good as Forsaken did in terms of numbers. Like, I guarantee, you know, us as creators, we won't see numbers anywhere near Forsaken. Maybe even less than Shadowkeep, probably around Shadowkeep numbers. But the thing is that's not the end of the world because Destiny's free to play and people kind of jump in and jump out. So I guarantee people are going to like play Cyberpunk for the entire month, get bored of it or whatever, beat it, right? And then hop back into Destiny. So they're still going to play Beyond Light. It's just not going to be at that launch period.
Right.
Yeah, maybe. Which is honestly okay for creators. Like, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of the content that I make at the beginning of new seasons, when it's really just trying to address how you get through the new content and get the new gear, all that stuff, they're kind of like your dinosaur videos where they don't go anywhere fast, but over the months, they just accumulate and accumulate and accumulate and accumulate. And there's times where I'll look at, I just kind of check in, what were my most watched videos this year? And I'm like, that video did terrible at the launch. It's got 200,000 views on it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that content's still going to survive. That's right.
Yeah.
That content will still survive.
Yeah.
Well, and think also, so Christmas comes and you know, mid-November comes and the new consoles launch. I believe that Destiny being free to play. Also, I believe anyone with the Game Pass gets the DLCs for free. There might be this huge Xbox audience that just appears because it's like, hey, I've heard about Destiny, but I didn't want to invest into getting into Destiny, right?
Yeah, that's huge because consoles, they're probably gonna be like $500, right? So most people, they're gonna get a console, right? Spend the $500, they're gonna get like one game. They're gonna get Call of Duty or they're gonna get Cyberpunk. It's gonna be one game. And once they've played it or they're bored of it or they want to try something else, Destiny's sitting there in the store free to play. Yeah, I think that's gonna matter.
Yeah,
I really do.
It's accessible. It's there. You know, I think they've done a pretty damn good job marketing the game. I think a lot of people know about this, but they just don't want to. They don't know if they're going to like the game. They don't know if they're going to enjoy it. But dropping this crazy amount of money to get into the game, it's daunting, right? So if they can get in for free, they tell a couple friends. I think it's one of those things that could really grow the player base, probably more than even when the game initially went free to play. Because it went free to play, but you still got to get some DLCs if you want to play some of the main content. Now on Xbox, it's just like, hey, you want to play Destiny? Here you go. Because everyone's getting the Game Pass. Everyone's going to be using that.
Dude, Game Pass looks like such a good deal. Like, looking at the games on it, it's like, bro, why am I on PC? Everyone told me PC Master Race. That was a lie, dude. I should be on Xbox. Game Pass value, dude.
Yeah. So now we were going to talk about Twitch staff getting banned. We'll talk about that, but you kind of mentioned that the new consoles are going to be around that $500 mark, or that's the guess.
That's like the
right.
Who knows?
But did you see the Nvidia stuff the other day? Literally game changing.
No, we're going out of order. What is this?
We'll get back to it. I got to talk about the Nvidia stuff.
Yeah, it applies.
People who are playing on PC have an option to get a graphics card that is essentially 2 times as good as the current 2080 Ti for a fraction of the cost. Mm-hmm. You can make these insane rigs to play these games at high FPS. You could do, 1440p. And I mean, if my console is going to be $500-600, maybe $700 with tax, but I can get this graphics card to play at higher FPS, probably 4K with that.
Yeah, come on.
It's kind of a game changer.
No, dude,
it really is.
Like a power source is like $500. You don't they have like the different? They have like how 12 point. Maybe I'm mistaken about that, but like people don't. Come on, it's super cheap, but like building a whole PC, it's like $100 just for like the casing. All right, you got to have like fans. You got to have a CPU is like another $700, right? Especially one that can take advantage. Like the thing is with this graphics card, everyone's like. It obviously is very cheap. Mm-hmm. That's insane. Like the price range isn't crazy, but like to get the most out of it, the peripherals you're going to need to have, right? Like it's going to add up. Like that's the thing about PC. You're like everyone does what you just did on like, the PC Master Race Reddit. They're like, it's only $700. Like it's a steal. It's basically a console. $2,500 later, when you've got other peripherals and RGB lights and everything, you're sitting there like, well, maybe it's like.
But counterpoint. I see this as it is performance wise. It looks so good that it very well may eliminate the need for a dual PC setup for amateur streamers. And there are a lot of people even people who have communities with 5 average viewers. For them, it's a hobby and they love it. They love their community. They love playing with those guys and their friends, and to take away the need to have an investment, to cut your investment value, down by 33% maybe to get a second PC just to help run your stream while you're doing gaming at optimal settings. That's big.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even for me, I'm getting one of those new graphics cards because I've been on a one PC setup, and on some games that aren't optimized the best, Destiny, I can't even run it on. 900p is what I'm streaming at. I run into issues with frame rate in game, dropping frames in stream sometimes. I have to drop my settings. Knowing that I could play at a good frame rate, the stream looks god tier. I mean, I think that that's such a crazy investment for me. Like, I can imagine there's so many people out there that aren't getting into content creation. They're not getting into editing. They're not trying these things because it's just too expensive if they're trying to do the 2PC and really optimize things. And even with editing, right? If you look at the render times, these GPUs are going to shave off, 50% of the time? If you're doing 4K video, right? No one really does 4K video. Hardly anyone does 4K video because it takes forever to render. Even just to put it in the editing program and look at it, it's tough. This just opened up a huge door to 4K footage, 4K recordings, 4K editing. I haven't even looked at that. But now I'm thinking, man, if the option's there, maybe I go for it. Because people are getting those TVs. People are starting to get the tech to watch 4K, right?
Yes, but I'm going to play devil's advocate. First of all, as someone who got a PC pretty recently with a 2080 Ti, this is all dumb. What the frick? Like, how is it so cheap? Like, come on. You couldn't have released this a couple of months earlier? What are you doing?
That's true.
But also, I think just with that, the 4K, I disagree a little bit because 50% of views on YouTube are mobile, right? And no one's watching 4K on their phone. And if it is, it's placebo. Like, that doesn't, you know what I mean? So it's I think it's nice to have for some things, like new games, like people who specialize in new games and just show raw gameplay and insane trailers and stuff, it's gonna matter. But for the average content creation, it's do you really need to know what the best hand cannon is in 4K? No, not really. You know what I'm saying? You're fine.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
That's just me playing devil's advocate. I agree with all your points. This is insane. And the price range, I don't know how they did that, Like, what is this thing made out of? Like, what? Like, how do they get this price range? It's honestly like it again as a 2080 Ti owner, I'm kind of annoyed like how much better it is and how inexpensive it is. Like, which means it's a fantastic product, obviously.
Yeah, I wonder, like, chat, do you got any idea what they have put into this thing to make it so efficient, so good? It seems like they've almost created a new technology, if this is the case.
Maybe.
To be half the price, 2 times, 100% faster or 50% faster, whatever it is. This is black magic, boys. Nvidia, you're casting spells.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it
golden eggs?
you go
Nvidia
ahead.
has one, obviously.
That's right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it like really big though compared to the 2080? Like, isn't it like size wise? Isn't it gonna take up a lot more space in your case?
I don't know.
I heard it was a lot bigger. I don't know if that's chat. Maybe you can.
True. And then like, I think like it's freaking thicker than me, boys. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I just pulled up a picture. It's the size of a small bus. So
I was gonna say, I think both my kids were smaller at birth.
That's actually a good point. That's a freaking good point.
Like a lot of people, their current builds, like they got to rearrange a lot. I know for myself, I can't fit that in my rig. I have to move stuff.
Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, it's only like $700, bro. This is a freaking steal," and get it, and then they won't be able to fit it. And then, like I said, they're gonna have to get a whole new case, and then it doesn't fit in their motherboard. Then they have to get a whole new motherboard, right? And they have to get a whole new power source.
Bro,
you know what I mean?
They're gonna have to park it in their garage, brother. They need a whole closet for this thing.
Oh, this thing's huge, dude.
Yeah, that's true because I have no idea if it would work with my setup. Because instead of just swapping it out and maybe selling my 2080 Ti, I might have to get a whole new setup here, like motherboard and everything. But honestly, that's another thing too. Is one of the nice things about PC is it's modular and you can slot things out and you can swap things out. But is anyone gonna buy your 2080 Ti at a reasonable price when it's like, why?
The same price? A
2080
Ti, like
I think so.
The new one, dude. Like, what's the point?
I think a slightly used 2080. I think you can get some good cash out of it. I think right now, but with a lot of the hobbyists ready to upgrade, and they've got like your case, for example, Kackis, you're like barely used. You know what I mean? I think you can get some cash out of it because a lot of people aren't ready to make that big investment.
It's like, okay, it's like $2,000 right now, whatever it is right now. So if I sell it for like $700, again, like that's the same price as the freaking new ones. I'm gonna have to sell it for like $300.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
Come on, like no one's gonna buy. Like, why would you buy it for like $200 cheaper than the brand new one?
That's better by a long shot.
Better, yeah. No one's gonna get rid of. There's gonna be massive piles of 2080s filling the streets. Everyone's just gonna be throwing them out of their windows. No one's gonna be able to get rid of them. No one's gonna buy 2080s. Nobody, dude.
I think I'm thinking about like my buddies.
They're gonna sell them for $50 a pop on freaking like they're gonna include them. They're gonna, when you buy I go to the store and you buy a new 390 or whatever, they're gonna include a 2080 in the goodie bag as you buy it because they're like, we just have too many of these. We can't get rid of them.
I don't know. I think you get at least $450.
Maybe, dude.
I guess the other thing too would be like if you're selling your whole PC setup and no one has to deal with building one, you might get some extra value out of it there, saying, hey, I got a great rig with a 2080 Ti, just buy the whole thing, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing because if this thing is as good as they say it is, I want to see the benchmarks. Like, I'm going to build the NASA computer, so I only have to deal with my one, and I don't have to deal with a 2 PC setup at all. And I'm just going to sell my whole rig and hopefully get a decent amount for it.
My rig's going to my wife.
$, dude, because no one's going to want
it. It's going to the McDonald's Happy Meals.
I'm just giving mine to my wife because we game side. We actually got a whole new office set up down here. We game side by side now. It's like a T shape.
Oh, really?
Like, we got the one row that goes down between us with my editing stuff, but our monitors are side by side. We sit here, we game together like 3-4 nights out of the week. So I'm just gonna give her my PC.
Come on.
Oh, that's great, man.
Just kidding.
That would be that'd be like the best gaming rig for her to like play. Well, did she play Destiny with you, or what do you guys play?
No, she doesn't like Destiny. We play a lot of stuff. We play a lot of Sea of Thieves.
Oh
We
yeah.
play Fall Guys. We play a lot of like Left 4 Dead, Golf It, just a ton of just fun, chill party games and stuff like that. Yeah.
Nice.
Overwatch. Yeah.
That is like the funny thing is everyone's gonna get like the 3090s and then just play Fall Guys. And it's like,
That's right. Yeah.
yeah, hell yeah, you get 500 FPS Fall Guys, just absolutely gaming your butt off, trying to get those crowns,
Dude, it makes a difference in tail tag. I'm telling you. Chat can back me up on this.
Dude, every frame, bro.
Every frame matters in tail tag. I swear to Bob.
That game's easy, bro. I got my first win, first try, and I deleted it. I quit.
Dude, I can't even qualify those videos where it's like the person like gets hit by like 17 things in a row and it's like insanely unlucky and you're like, what are the that's me every game. Every single game it's that, and it's just some
just dodge, bro.
Why are you on here? My wife's more of a real gamer than you are, man. Why isn't she on here?
Oh, I'm trying, dude. I'm the Tim the Tap Man, but if I stream, I'd be worse than Tim. Like it'd be like the same thing, honestly, with me.
All right, so now it's time to get into a little bit more of the juicy drama. I think we got to talk about this because, Twitch has banned Dr. Disrespect a while ago. He apparently doesn't know, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Twitch staff getting banned. So I'm not sure if you guys have followed along, but with all the allegations that were happening, one of the allegations was with Hassan. Hassan is he was like a huge partner manager with Twitch. He honestly probably partnered or helped partner the majority of the Destiny community, right? Even myself.
Me too.
He was like the guy that reached out and he partnered us. So we know this guy. We've known him for a long time. He's been at a lot of the, the GCX or Guardian Con events in the past. He's been very, a big part of kind of the Destiny community and really friends with a lot of partners, right? Very involved. And there were allegations against him. And what's interesting is before those allegations even happened, there were some people saying, hey, there's this Discord where there's BSK members sharing nude photos. What are the chances that, what are the chances that this guy that's really good friends with them is a big person at Twitch? What about him? Does he know about it? Has he been part of it?
Didn't he stay at the house for a while? Wasn't he like involved in the BSK house?
Oh, all the time. Yeah, like
I'm
really good
he was
friends.
Like for sure in the Discord too. Just it was like unknown if he was like in the like secret.
In the secret one. Yeah.
Right. But he got allegations that he's asking for photos. He's doing some side, favors for people in exchange for photos or for going on dates. Is this guy sharing photos of partnered streamers? Right? This is huge. This is some big legal stuff if that's the case.
And there was always like, this is the guy, and I'm just mentioning this because like to put in perspective, like this guy, if you go to like the live stream fails subreddit, they know this guy by name because like this was a guy that's rumored is like what was said about him was that he's the one who keeps getting these female streamers out of sticky situations. They would like break TOS, and everyone would joke, Hassan's coming to the rescue, like he's gonna keep them safe, right? And again, I'm not saying that's true. I'm saying like this was literally like
that was the stigma
about this. So this is this dude, right? So like this guy's known everywhere. It's not just like a random Destiny, the guy that found the Destiny partners. It's like this is a big guy at Twitch.
Yeah, he was like a really high up, and so now they've banned him, which means they obviously have been looking into it, which is good. They should do that, but. I mean,
did you see the statement where it said that
yes,
they had a private investigator?
That's right. Third party, independent. Yeah.
Right.
And they wouldn't release the findings, but they said that the findings warranted his termination. AKA he does some sketchy shiz, dude.
Right. We don't know what it was. We don't know if the allegations that were brought against him were true, but they at least found something that concerned them enough to, and that's the thing, because there's that Twitter account. I forget the name of it, but all they do is monitor the bans on the IP or whatever for Twitch, and they're like, oh, this one is interesting, right? And they caught it. They're like, yo, Hassan, like staff Hassan, and they tweeted it out. So Twitch's response, like the statement they made, was in response to it being caught by that account, and they tweeted it out. And that's what they said.
He could have been fired for a while,
Yeah,
and
he knows
now
what I look.
the account's banned. But
Yeah, but like that's such a crazy thing. It's not just like I think a lot of us probably expected them to be like, there was some allegations leveraged and we take these very seriously. We've ended our relationship with Zan. But they're like, we got a freaking PI go in. We had a firm investigate this dude, and we can't say, but let's just say he's out here. You know what I'm saying? I was like, whoa, that's a big deal.
It is.
And that is scary because it's like it really, I think it reaffirms what a lot of that, you know, you got to look at what all those like especially female streamers were saying in that big, you know, event that happened. It's like, wow, Twitch confirmed that this dude really high up was an absolute scumbag and clearly, you know, taking advantage or doing whatever. And it's unknown with who, but like you got to look at all those allegations a lot more seriously now because it's like, they got PIs in there and we're like, yeah, this dude's up to something.
Yeah. At least one of them carries weight. We don't know if all those allegations carry weight, but at least one of them did.
Yeah, enough to fire a very high up person in your company, right? Yeah. And you know, the thing is it's not even just the allegations of sexual misconduct. There's allegations that he was abusing his partnership, you know, tools and abilities. He's giving people partner because he wants to, not because maybe they have the numbers or anything like that. And so it makes you wonder, well, if someone like that can wield that much power, that's a little bit spooky. Could, hypothetically, someone ban my account because they just don't like me. They think, Mtashed, I want to punch you in the head, but instead I'm just going to ban your account. And how are you going to fight it?
Might get shut down.
Yeah, obviously. Who knows? I'm calling out the guy. He's in chat right now. He's sweating. He's like, oh, God.
Yeah, well, you have to wonder, they might have to make some new accountability features internally to guarantee that stuff like this cannot happen again. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they actually came forward and said, because they are gonna, I think they're gonna have to address it at some point, you know.
Yeah.
So they might have to come out and say, listen, stuff happened. We're terribly sorry that it happened, and here's what we're doing to make sure it'll never happen again.
Right.
Yeah. Now, sorry.
Oh no, like I agree. Like this is gonna have ramifications like throughout all of Twitch. Like some guy, some guy was in charge of who to partner and you fired him because the PI was like, get rid of this guy. Like, come on, you got to address that. And you got to have new accountability where you're picking partners for merit and you're picking partners for because they've reached these certain goals, and you're not picking partners or unpartnering people or banning people or doing whatever because you're, getting favors or you don't like them or you do like them. Like that's sketchy behind the scenes. Like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, there has to be accountability there. There has to be fairness, honestly. Like a lot of people are doing this or trying to do this as a career. And so if there's favoritism, if there's these back end deals or behind the scene blowjobs to be getting, I'm sorry.
You joke.
But, it's a little scary.
There is that. Like that's so dumb. Like could you imagine like, hey, you want to be partnered? Like that's so scummy.
Actually, and you know what? And even to go on that, it is that power dynamic. Who's to say he doesn't say, well, if you don't get partnered. If you don't, you get banned, right? It goes both ways. You can do favors, but you can also terrify people and hurt them. And so I'm sure that of these women that are coming forward, that was probably a very big potential and a very big worry. And so I feel terrible for them to have to be in that situation, and maybe him being banned, him being fired, him not being in that position, at least gives them a sliver of comfort. At least some reassurance that like this guy's gone, he can't haunt me anymore, he can't hurt me anymore. So that's good news.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say that same dynamic I think is really at the core of most of the stories that we heard during that whole string of stories that came out on Twitter earlier this summer. It was really about intimidation, somebody who has more influence, more power, and could actually have an effect on the outcome of your dreams, your aspirations, your channel, your content, is what caused a lot of these women specifically to have the stories that they ended up having.
Yeah, for sure. It's a bad situation. Hopefully, I mean, it definitely seems to be improving because a lot of people have been fired and I mean, the guy at Ubisoft, there's like the number 2 guy at Ubisoft was freaking like out there being like, you know, doing whatever he's doing, man. Like, come on, the number like 2 guy, like the COO or whatever of Ubisoft was out there like diddling people at events or whatever he was doing. It's like, are you serious, dude?
Yeah.
Like, that's so crazy. That's so wild. But speaking to what you said, Tash, about like the career, you mentioned Dr. Disrespect. Can we just like spend 2 seconds on this and be like,
yep, come on back.
dude,
Let's see.
I can't even believe this. They banned Dr. Disrespect, and they're like, wait, why'd you ban him? They're like, don't worry about it. Like, what?
Yeah.
If they ban someone off their platform, they have to issue a statement as to why. You can't just like yeet someone, because who's to say the CEO, who's to say Jeff Bezos didn't just like say, you know what, I hate this Dr. Disrespect guy, get rid of him. Like, there could be a weird part. I don't know, but it's just so weird to like just completely ban someone off the platform and never offer an explanation.
Yeah. And I do not buy that no one on his team knows.
Yeah,
Like
someone's
someone's got to know, you know?
Something, dude, for sure.
I mean, they've got to have a direct line there. There's got to be some talk, some negotiations, right? Someone in chat actually had a good comment. They said, you know, his contract is to keep him on Twitch. So Mixer goes down all of a sudden. You know, they threw big numbers at Ninja. They threw big numbers at Shroud. I mean, even Gathalion went over there, right? And so if Mixer folds, does that give Twitch the opportunity to go, do you know what? I'm going to fold this contract because we don't need you anymore. You've done some shady stuff in the past, and they use that as leverage to maybe ban him. I wonder if it has something to do with Mixer shutting down, and they just wanted to save some money or save some face or whatever. But it's so suspect.
But like, if that was the case, wouldn't he just come out and say like they breached my contract?
I guess, yeah, you would think so, and then he'd fight
unless
that.
there's a non-disclosure agreement or like, but like, oh man,
I just feel like if he had a good defense to say it was unwarranted, he would have offered it. You know what I mean? Other than just saying, I don't know.
Question,
you know what I mean?
I mean,
but that is the perfect defense. If he did do some sketchy stuff, to say like, I don't know, they never told me.
Well,
And
that's
then
the thing. That's why you would think.
Court now.
Yeah, if this is a multi-million-dollar deal, and I don't know how big it is, if this is a multi-million-dollar deal, he probably doesn't want anything to impact that trial, right? If him tweeting causes him to lose $5 million or $10 million or whatever it is, he's not going to do it. And so it could be just the defense thing. He doesn't want to get into it. But I do believe, just like you said, if they're banning a huge content creator, I mean, really any content creator, you should know. They should have to clip the moment that you broke the rule. If I showed my nipple, right? When did I show my nipple? Prove that I showed my nipple. I'm sure you can. You're Twitch. But, if that's what I'm getting banned for, I want to see this moment that I supposedly did something or supposedly said something. Because if not, I mean, you see horror stories all the time where people are saying, I didn't do anything. I got banned. For what? No accountability. Zero accountability. And that's scary.
It is scary.
Yeah, I mean, like, there was a whole lot of drama very recently with YouTube where Critical, like Charlie, came out and he was furious. There's basically YouTube videos of people, like, killing their pets, and they're still up. Like, there was a whole controversy of this one guy. They never even deleted his channel. This guy was straight up, like, drowning his kittens or whatever, and YouTube kept his channel up, dude. They deleted Leafy's channel for bullying Pokimane, which is fine. He broke TOS, but you keep someone's channel of like killing their pets up. Like, what the heck, YouTube? So he called this out, and he also said, like, look, they're keeping this outrageously horrible content up, and they put a strike on my channel. Have you seen that video? It's like a Russian video where like a car pulls over and this guy honks him or whatever, and then these people in like costumes come out. There's like a SpongeBob costume and stuff, and they go and like beat this guy up, but it's like a fake video. It's like obviously like a prank video. And all these like mascots are like beating this guy up, like clearly as a parody. He made a video on that, like a funny video, and they gave him a strike for like egregiously violent content or something. They took the video down, they striked, and he like reached out, and this team, whatever like psychopathic team at YouTube is like, we're gonna go after this guy in his little mascot video, and we're gonna strike it. Like, you can't, they're like off on their own. You can't even communicate with them. Like if you have a YouTube contact and you say like, can you talk to these guys? They're like, no, we have no way of contacting them. They're like a freaking Splinter Cell. They're like, and
They're
so like,
ghosts.
all this came to a forefront. Markiplier had like try not to laugh compilation with that same video. He tweeted out like, hey, I'm covering the same video. Where's my strike? YouTube freaking striked it an hour after he tweeted that. They doubled down on their BS. And then finally, like a hashtag was trending called Answer Us YouTube. And then finally, YouTube was like, okay, after further review of someone who has one brain cell, it's clearly a parody. This video is fake. It's a bunch of mascots fake punching someone. It's not egregious content. Like they undid the strikes. Like basically for the first time ever. Usually if they strike you, it's like too bad, right? Even if they're wrong.
Yeah.
So and that just illustrates how absolutely crazy these companies are, and just the lack of communication. Where it's like you can get banned for like a funny like misunderstanding or a fake video or something like that, and like there's no way to contact these videos. Like you'd think in the age of technology and a company like Google and YouTube, they'd be able to like freaking email one department to the other. Apparently they can't. Like what a joke, eh? Like that's so insane.
Can I weigh in here?
Yeah.
My Twitter would not exist to this day if I did not know somebody who knew somebody at Twitter, because my Twitter account got shut down for violent threats. And in hindsight, it was not the best tweet I ever made in my life, but it was obviously sarcasm, right? It was when my wife, Gathalion's wife, Roman's wife, and Grenader Jake's wife, and Lupo's wife all had a Wives of the Streamers show that they used to do, right? And I plugged it once. I was like, better tune in or I'll find you, I'll kill you. It was a bad joke. It was a bad joke, right?
Dude, you tweet into the stream or I'll kill you. I see that like every 2 tweets on my feed, bro. Like,
right? Well, they shut my account because someone reported it as a genuine threat of violence. Like they thought that if they did not tune into the stream, I was gonna look up every human being on the planet that did not tune into that podcast and go hunt them down.
Right.
And Twitter did not question it. Right? They saw that and they're like, oh, duh, yeah. Well, here's the scary thing. I kid you not. The answer that I got back when they finally restored my channel, the message that I got through the grapevine from a guy at Twitter, he sent it to my friend who then sent it to me, was that the reason it was shut down is because Twitter's weekend crew is really weird, is what he said. And they just like to punish people. They just shut down channels all the time. And so here's my takeaway. I never say anything controversial on the weekends anymore. I don't touch it on the weekends. Guys, I don't. Because the weekend crew just wants to punish you.
But that's the accountability stuff, right? Hassan's
hold on. Monday to Friday on Twitter, you're joking, but Saturday, Sunday, you're a freaking terrorist in their eyes. You don't.
That's right.
Nothing, dude. Oh my god,
like
dude.
That's scary. We got Hassan who's like partnering or departnered, like, right? There's people in every platform that we use that has the potential to just be like, I don't like you today, bop. Like even my channel, I have a permanent community guideline strike for dangerous or facilitation of dangerous goods. I looked this up. I'm like, pardon me? Excuse me? It says promoting the use of things like, oh, I don't know, heroin, cocaine, like these crazy things.
Trying to sell plutonium.
Right? And it ended up being because in the description, it just said CBD. There was a part where it said CBD, and that's what it was. And I was like, well, that product is sold legally. It's only sold where it is legal. I can't facilitate the purchase of it because it can only be done in legal places. So how is that illegal? And the other thing too is Joe Rogan promotes products of CBD on his YouTube channel constantly, like every other one.
Yeah.
He talks about a product directly. He's facilitating it, if anything. And, it's like you can't get through to them. There's no reasoning with them. So you just have to try your best. Honestly, even when I post this video or when we post this video, we're going to have to bleep out my explanation of why I got banned most likely, because it will get us banned or demonetized, right? It's insanity. It's insanity.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of protection for creators. A lot of these companies, they're more worried about their own skin, right? They don't anything that threatens their safety. They'll just shut it down, and that's scary. It really is for people like us that rely on this.
Yeah, it's 100%. And there's no accountability. It's like all these like shadow teams that just are in charge of deleting your entire account. You think again, they offer no explanation to why you're banned. There's nothing. It's just really annoying. Like all these companies just can do whatever they want with your account. It's crazy.
Yeah. Honestly, that's kind of one of the reasons why we wanted to start this podcast up. Diversification, talk about some different things, talk about these crazy issues, and hopefully, if all of our channels get banned, at least we'll have a bumpin' podcast, right?
That's right.
And
dangerous terrorist, true Vanguard, and drug dealer Mtashed get banned. They can come here. I got my boys, dude.
Exactly. Anyways, that's it. Thank you guys so much. I'm Mtashed.
I'm True Vanguard.
I'm KackisHD.
And this is the worst outro we've ever done.
We'll tighten this one up. We'll tighten this up.
All right. This is the RGH podcast, Real Gamer Hour. Make sure to follow for more, and we'll see you soon.
Cheers.